Welcome back to Pastry Maestra. I'm Teresa and today I'm making chocolate salted caramels. Caramels are great, right? Sweet and chewy, they keep your mouth and your brain completely occupied and endorphins just flow, spreading pleasure left and right. But that isn't enough. Nope, we want more pleasure. So what do? We add chocolate, of course. So now you have chocolate caramels. So chocolatey and sweet and chewy, and your mouth and your brain are screaming with delight. But even that is not enough. What next, you ask? What else can we add to this divine concoction? The answer is, if you can believe it, salt. Yes, S-A-L-T, salt. Who in heaven's name thought of that? Well, am I going to surprise you by saying French? No, I didn't think so. Yes, at some point, French chefs started experimenting with salt and it turned out rather well. The salted caramels quickly became popular, although those were sold only in high-end pastry shops and were rather expensive. Not surprisingly, heavily salted butter caramels are also a traditional treat in Brittany, but it wasn't until 1990s that this trend became global. For example, Pierre Hermé, the Parisian pastry chef known for his experimentation, invented a salted caramel macaron that inspired a small cult among American food professionals in the late 1990s. But chocolate was not to be left behind, so a new trend, salted chocolate, was born. Mr. Hermé sprinkled chocolate with fleur de sel, a flaky salt hand-harvested from the marshes of Brittany, and that was a big hit. In 1998, the San Francisco chocolate maker Michael Ricciuti was selling his own fleur de sel caramels covered in chocolate. Things started to happen. By year 2000, pastry chefs at top New York restaurants like Gramercy Tavern and Le Cirque had fallen completely in love with the way an extra hit of salt can enhance something sweet. They topped chocolate caramel tarts and molten chocolate cakes with crunchy bits of expensive salt and folded it into ice cream. After that, salted caramel made its way into high-end food magazines and specialty food shows. A little bit later, it showed up on the menus of chain restaurants like Cheesecake Factory. After that, in a mainstream women's magazine, and finally, it was completely integrated in the American mass market. Now, if something is so popular, it has to be fabulous, right? Right. So, only thing left to do is learn how to make those yummy delights, and that's where I come in. However, before we immerse ourselves in pure pleasure, I have a warning that you must take very seriously. Melted sugar is extremely dangerous, so first you have to learn how to handle it, and I have a detailed post on this subject. Link is in the description below. Please learn the basics and then come back. I'll be waiting, don't worry. If, however, you are already an all-hand at this matter, I'll now teach you how to make chocolate salted caramels. As usual, recipes on my site, the link is down below. First thing I'm gonna do is line 15 by 15 centimeters, which is 6 by 6 inches baking pan with parchment paper. I'm gonna put sugar and enough water to cover the sugar into a saucepan, mix to combine and put the lid on. When the syrup boils, the steam will wash down the sugar crystals from the sides of the pan. I'm gonna remove the lid, add glucose and continue cooking until the syrup caramelizes. My sugar syrup has nice amber color and I've removed the pan from the stove. I'm gonna carefully add cream that I've heated in the microwave. Now I'm gonna add butter and stir until incorporated. I've put my mixture back on the stove and now I'm gonna insert a probe of my digital candy thermometer inside and continue cooking. My caramel reached 121 degrees centigrade, which is 250 degrees Fahrenheit. I've removed the pan from the stove and now I will add chopped dark chocolate and stir until the mixture becomes uniform. I'm gonna pour the hot mixture into a prepared baking pan immediately and shake the mold to distribute the caramel evenly. I will leave it to cool at room temperature for a couple of hours or overnight. I've placed the cool caramel slab onto a cutting board and now I'm gonna sprinkle some smoked salt flakes on the top. Then I'll cut them with a sharp oiled knife into pieces. There, my chocolate salted caramels are done. I just love making edible gifts for my friends and family and seeing happy smiles on their faces, because sweetness is happiness. Until our next sweet encounter, bye!
Oh baby, you are so sweet, so delicious and yummy, so good to eat. I wanna lick you, feel your sweetness on my lips. Forever and ever, you'll stay on my hips.
I'm Teresa. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you liked it. If you want to stay in touch, follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and of course, visit my site, where you can find elaborate posts with lots of pictures, additional information and recipes that follow my every video. Also, on my site you can download my free 365 pages ebook The Pastry Chef and maybe buy me a macaron, if you think that I've earned it. Now, before you go, please hit the like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That really helps a lot. Finally, and this is the most important thing, don't forget to create sweetness every day, because sweetness is happiness. See you in my next video. Bye!